Close your eyes and imagine the chill of a Massachusetts morning in 1775. You've heard the famous writers, but an enslaved man named Prince Estabrook stood on Lexington Green that day. He was wounded in that first violent clash of the Revolution, yet he didn't run. He served through multiple deployments until the final shots were fired. A hero long omitted from your school books. This is Immersion History Journal, and we are uncovering the profound stories intentionally hidden in our nation's foundation. To remember the people edited out of the narrative, subscribe now, because we have much to reclaim. We often think of the Revolution as a simple conflict, but new research for the 250th anniversary reveals a complex multiracial coalition. Consider the 1st Rhode Island Regiment, long celebrated as an all-black unit. Recent findings show they were actually a diverse group including Narragansett and other indigenous soldiers. They held the American line during the Battle of Rhode Island and stormed the redoubts at Yorktown. Then there is the incredible story of James Armistead Lafayette. He was an enslaved man who played a high-stakes game as a double agent for the Marquis de Lafayette. By infiltrating Lord Cornwallis's headquarters, he provided the critical intelligence that trapped the British at Yorktown. Despite his service, he only secured his freedom years later, after Lafayette personally testified to his bravery. The Smithsonian's recent exhibitions now showcase the Dunlap broadside alongside the harrowing accounts of black loyalists. These were enslaved people who fled to the British side, risking everything for a promise of liberty. Many were eventually resettled in Nova Scotia and Sierra Leone, seeking the independence they were denied in the colonies. Their presence reminds us that the fight for freedom was never a single unified voice. It was a struggle fought by people who didn't yet possess the rights they were dying to defend. Their names were suppressed for centuries, but today, that long, heavy silence is finally being broken. We are finally hearing the voices of those who were edited out of our original story, ensuring their legacy lives on forever. Think about the very old skeleton key hidden in your kitchen junk drawer. You do not know what door it opens, but its weight tells you a house once stood around it. For centuries, the 115 settlers of Roanoke were treated like that key, a mystery with no lock. We were told they simply vanished, leaving only a cryptic word carved into a tree. But history is not always actually found in ghost stories. Sometimes it is in the dirt. Recent excavations at Site X have uncovered something more human than a disappearance. Archaeologists found shards of Algonquian pottery sitting right next to European trade goods. These were not the remnants of a bloody battle or a massacre. They were the quiet evidence of a shared meal. These pieces of clay suggest an intimate daily coexistence between the English colonists and the local indigenous people. Then there is the copper. Researchers found a small copper wire ring at a native village site, crafted with European drawing techniques unknown to ancient local tribes at the time. That ring was not lost by a ghost. It was worn by a person who had walked away from the failing colony to find a new life among the friendly Croatoan. The inland migration theory suggests these families did not starve in isolation. Instead, they moved deep toward the woods, trading their old world for a real chance to survive. This was not a sudden tragedy, but a slow, necessary assimilation. In 2025, the genetic research identified DNA markers in North Carolinians that link back to those 1587 settlers. The blood of the lost colony did not dry up in the sun. It flowed into local tribes and eventually into the families living in those same counties today. We have spent generations looking for a graveyard when we should have been looking at our neighbors. The settlers did not go missing. They became part of someone else's story. When you hold history in your hand, the mystery feels like a memory. Those copper rings and pottery shards are the tactile fingerprints of an incredible survival. Beyond the pottery shards of Roanoke, our history stretches back further. Deep in the New Mexico desert, the dry beds of Lake Otero hold a different kind of fingerprint. Fossilized human footprints were confirmed to be over 21,000 years old. This find effectively doubles the time humans have walked across this continent, rewriting every textbook we own. These aren't just shadows of the past. They are the literal steps of families who survived an ice age. Further north in Saskatchewan, we found more than just tracks. A discovered 11,000-year-old permanent settlement proves that early Americans weren't just nomadic hunters following the wind. They built homes and stayed near the massive herds of ancient bison that once roamed the plains. This shift from wandering to staying puts a human face on an era once defined by cold stones. We see that same grit in the forgotten faces of the American West. The image of the lone white cowboy is a powerful myth, but the reality was far more vibrant. Modern research confirms that 1 in every 4 cowboys working the 19th century West was black. Figures like Nat Love and the multiracial crews of the Chisholm Trail were the ones who truly tamed the frontier. Their labor was the quiet, sturdy backbone of an era built on teamwork. On that same frontier, Dr. Susan Flesche Picotte was breaking barriers. In 1889, she became the first indigenous woman to earn a medical degree, treating both white and Native patients in her community. She was a physician and a warrior for the Omaha Nation's rights. Her life reminds us that history isn't just about leaders in high-backed chairs. We are moving away from the great man theory toward a great movement of diverse voices. These are the people who built the country we inherited. Tell me in the comments, what story from your own family's past was overlooked? I read every word because your memories are the threads that keep this history from unraveling. Subscribe to Immersion History Journal, because there is still more of this great country left for us to remember.